The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard. America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook. Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix. Quantum Connections with Lucky. And dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117? Or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR-LIVE. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
New guidelines to steer clear. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. President Trump recommending tighter measures to stop the spread of the coronavirus.
All Americans, including the young and healthy, work to engage in schooling from home when possible. Avoid gathering in groups of more than 10 people. Avoid discretionary travel. And avoid eating and drinking at bars, restaurants, and public food courts.
The administration dismissing rumors of a nationwide 2-week shutdown. Economic advisor Larry Kudlow.
That is simply not the case. There may be other rumors like that. We've made no such decisions.
A senior administration official tells Fox News there is an ongoing effort to spread disinformation and cause undue panic. There is no national quarantine for the United States. The president earlier today taking part in 2 teleconferences about responses to the coronavirus, one with G7 leaders and the other with the nation's governors.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. The virus infecting more than 4,000 people in the U.S.
The U.S. military is assessing its added capacity to help surge, if asked, to help the civilian hospital system, but warned there are limitations and consequences to surging the National Guard and Reserve, who are often civilian healthcare workers who would be taken out of civilian hospitals where they work if they are activated. Spokesman Jonathan Hoffman said the Pentagon is assessing how it can surge support to local authorities if asked, but trying to level expectations in terms of the military's current capacity to deal with an infectious disease like coronavirus.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Manic Monday on Wall Street. The Dow plummeting nearly 3,000 points as coronavirus fears crippled the economy. The Nasdaq down 970. The S&P 500 losing 325. America is listening to Fox News.
Successful companies.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Astronauts to the moon.
Ten, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show and we're in a snow globe and they just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Jeranism RAW, the current reigning and defending #1 show on this radio network on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific. That's 9 to 11 Eastern. I'm your host, Jeran from Jeranism. You won't be hearing a ton from me tonight as I had a little oral surgery today, little tooth pull. So I'm going to be recovering, but thank goodness I've got some friends to help me out. First, we've got David Weiss from Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Dave, thanks for joining me as always.
Jeran, you sound fine. I'm surprised.
It doesn't sound that bad?
No, right, not bad at all.
I'm surviving, getting through it. Although thanks to listening to Dr. Kaufman's interview with Crow and Jason today, I will not be fulfilling my prescription for amoxicillin today. So thank you guys for the good show.
Word, stay away from the antibiotics if you can do it.
Yeah, I think it's it's good. I had the tooth pulled. Feeling better. It should be good, and I think my body will recover just fine. But you know how it is. I'm sure if anybody's ever had a tooth pulled, it's not the best experience. And of course, I had to have them, definitely put tons of shots of Novocaine or whatever they put into your gums, because I'm a big puss when it comes to that. But it's good. We'll be fine. So we also have Jason and Crow. So Jason, what's up, pal? How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you are quite welcome. Always my pleasure to be here. Sorry you're under the weather, but we got your back, brother.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the show.
Awesome. So we named the show tonight Social Distancing. Has anyone been hearing social distancing whenever they turn anything on or talk to anybody?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's even a movie from a few years ago that they're echoing the 5-foot rule or whatever it is.
6 feet, yep.
Yeah, there's a movie of the same name or a very similar name.
So I was talking with Paige today, and she's actually the one that made me think of this, that, when you have groups of people together, when they say when people pray together, it's more powerful. When people meditate together, you have the what's it called, the Maharaji effect or whatever it's called, and you have combined intent. They're separating us, right? Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Now they don't even want two people close to each other. Do you think that having everybody maintain social distancing will even weaken our collective consciousness that much more so they can pull whatever crap they're trying to pull? What do you think about that concept?
Well, we're looking at the biggest coup d'etat in the history of the world. They're going for the whole enchilada, aren't they? The banks are going to get crunched and everything else. And the idea here in America is that supposedly in our rights, we have the right to gather. So I guess we could start to question whether any state has the right under any circumstance to undermine the federal Constitution. But even if there are reasons they could work around that, I would suggest that this is no different than anyone that served in the military. If you're a private, you're told an officer gives you a command, you got to follow it in order. But it's also your responsibility to determine if the officer's given you an illegal order. And if you know what we know on this panel, this is all based on nonsense, which means that every order that follows is an illegal order. That's what I would say. Yeah, it absolutely undermines everything. And the reason they're doing it so vivaciously here is because if you put 100 people in a room, you'd have some there that would start to point out how ridiculous this all is.
Right. If you think about it, that on that fateful September day, they had the entire world together, focused. Everybody was watching the same thing at the same time. Even if they were watching Fox or CNN, they were watching the same feed, and they were focusing all of that energy together. Now they're separating us, and I really feel that us not being together, and that social distancing is, for lack of a better word, weakening the force.
Well, you just saw, right before we started, I sent Jason, who was just about to send me what YouTube's up to. Oh, because COVID, we got to fire all of our people that check the videos. So we're telling you, we know this is going to be hard on you. Our machines are just going to start pulling videos. That's the notice we just got. And here's what I noticed. The censorship went way down as soon as this corona nonsense, this made-up BS started happening. And it occurred to me that when you're being lured into a bear trap, if someone does things to ensure you can't get out of it, they're violating your universal rights. But now it looks like they're going to tee right up and do whatever the hell they want because, we'll see. Look at my channel. I've had adult conversations with professionally trained medical people tell you basically that no virus has ever been shown to cause disease in anyone. So if that gets pulled down, I think it's pretty clear what's going on.
So here you go. I just pulled up something because I knew they were starting to crack down in New Orleans. All full-service restaurants with seating cease operations at 9 p.m. daily. Further, they will work to limit their seating capacity for social distancing, whether it is removing blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there you go. First article I found.
There's something I would point out. When I saw Massachusetts and Rhode Island start to push this, what I noticed was that the news guy came on and acted like it was a mandate or something that you're expected to do. Then he backed off at the very end and slid in there that it was suggested. And I think that's a key point whenever you see the language. After all, for the people who did graduate high school or at least know how to use a dictionary, when they began to describe corona, there were two words that told you the truth of the whole thing. The first one was that it was a novel virus, and the second one was that all the cases you were being told, they were all presumptive. If you look up those two words, it told you the whole game instantly.
I was watching the news real quick just to see what the rest of the world is seeing, and they built a new set where the newscasters aren't sitting together. They have their separate podiums with their social distancing. I mean, the amount of times you hear the word social distancing on the news, and when you see people, when you see someone that you would normally shake their hand, they're like, "Oh, social distance." It's already ingrained in everyone's head. Social distance. When we've seen in the past, when something comes out this hard where they're repeating the same thing again, that raises a huge red flag for me. So there's something more to this social distancing than what they're saying, of course.
You're right. Has anyone on the panel seen anybody sick or anyone dead? I'm just polling the panel here. Do you guys know of anyone who's actually got something we could call the flu, or have you seen a dead body? I haven't.
No, I haven't seen it either. And the only thing was today that the dentist told me I'd normally shake your hand, but I'm not going to shake your hand today. So that
maybe we should just all convert to the Asian bowing system. I mean, it's polite.
Well, Kim Kardashian says that we shouldn't even bang elbows because you sneeze into your elbow. We should tap feet now.
Yeah, that's a bit ironic coming from someone who was the first celebrity to tap you-know-what on video for a little additional fame. So now we're officially the only species in the world that can't hang out with our own kind. It's beyond this whole thing is so cowardly and beyond acceptable that I'm out of words. I've used them all up.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I put up on the screen a second ago for people to see that there's the notice from YouTube saying due to the COVID-19 that we will conduct fewer human reviews, and unfortunately, as a result, we may remove content that does not violate our community guidelines, basically giving them carte blanche to remove anything. So this show here may not be...
I went and read the page, too. There's nothing that says that they'll be catching up and reviewing as they should, but they do say they know this will hurt everybody.
And are they going to go retroactive? Are they going to go to older videos?
Would doubt it.
They do whatever the hell they want, and we all know it. They don't even notify me when they pull videos down or when they pull the advertising. I don't get any notices.
I had a video pulled. It was just a clip of ODD's 21 questions. I broke it into 21 chapters, and it's been up for probably 2 years now. And I just got a strike the other day. And so when I went to refute it, I filed I sent it off, and less than 30 seconds later, it was reviewed and denied. 30 seconds.
Pretty quick review.
Community guideline or copyright?
Yeah, I got a full community guide. No, not copyright. Community guidelines. It was hate speech, and it was just talking historical facts.
I think we can safely say that YouTube isn't our friend anymore.
You think? People are going to start figuring out what COVID. I guess like cooperative video. That's how they did this. The whole this whole epidemic is basically a fear epidemic. In all honesty, because the world has become so cowardly, and it's with the cooperation of video or COVID that we pulled this coup off.
Interesting. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Well, let's just get this out there. As Crow and I have been trying to do, we don't want people to give into the negativity surrounding the whole beer bug thing. I mean, because it's all ridiculous. And even if there is a real flu, and there probably is, because there's always flus, there's always something.
Right. That's what I was going to say. There is a flu. There is you could get the common cold, the COVID-19, I think it's called. And if you have if you are lacking oxygen because you're stressed out and whatever other reason, and your immunity is low, you might get an infection, you might get pneumonia, and you could have a problem. Just like any other year, every other year. There's nothing.
Yeah, but except now that the eyes of people who can see without the glasses are taking a quick look, and digging up the correct people who are going out of their mind. As we came on the air, I got a comment from a doctor in Scotland. Says, I work in a sexual clinic and we're now being forced to send all our remedies through the mail. And he said, I was about to lose my effing mind until I found this site. Thank you, Crow. There's a lot of people out there that are not going for this nonsense in the medical community. The problem is it's their livelihood. The point I would make is we can demonstrate scientifically that no virus has ever been shown to make any human being sick. No virus has ever been imaged in the way you're being shown they have. They're basically flakes.
Proteins.
It looks like a flake of protein. They are not alive. What is called a virus has no life, no DNA, or at least not DNA that's in a living thing. It could be scraps of cells. They don't even know for sure what the proteins are. Not only that, back to back, we've had the people that we just recorded this morning wrote a damn near 1,000-page book they researched for 10 years when they started to realize everything they've been told was wrong. They sent me the book. We had them on. Verbatim, these people who have never heard of or met Andy Kaufman said the exact same thing about viruses, said the exact same thing about germ theory, and to the T knocked out AIDS, going straight to the poppers in the gay community. And both of those sources said it was not the gay lifestyle, it was the drug popper that started it. They went in and the hospital put them on hardcore antibiotics, and that was the beginning of the end for those folks. So those are two independent sources, and on all the key points, they lined up so perfectly as to be, this is hard to refute. It's one thing for a medical doctor to come on and tell you everything you know is wrong, and then get people who've been at this for 10 years to come on after him, don't even know him, never met him, and say the exact same things, and it's all cited research in a book that anyone can look up. In other words, this is all provably true, what we're laying down here.
Crow, are you saying that when somebody that has this year's cold is walking down the road, breathing in and out, that they're not leaving a chemtrail of viruses that are waiting for some random people to come by to climb in through their eyes and nose and mouth?
No, apparently that's not the way it works. And Andy Kaufman, on the second time we had him back, Dr. Andy Kaufman went into the contagion thing, and he started to use examples like when people yawn, that's true contagion. Other people yawn. But when he went back to whether we're handing back and forth these little living things that make you sick, he says it doesn't work that way, and he's not the only one saying it doesn't work that way. And since we all know that the pharmaceuticals are basically the petrochemical companies, it's all petrol-based medicine. All this stuff relates directly to how oil is made. It's all poisonous, most of it, toxic on some level. Including the shots. The people we had on today pointed out that if the doctor was about to give you an inoculation, he dropped it and it broke on the ground, what was sitting on the ground would be considered a toxic cleanup. And yet that's was about to be shot in you. My point here is no, the contagion theory is apparently debunked. Viruses are provably not what you've been told they are. That picture that they show you every night on the news is no different than the Earth from space. It's an artist's rendering. Actually, we saw real electron micrographs. It looks like a little flake of something flat, what is called a virus, and it has no life, has no ability to live or replicate or infect anything. And germ theory is BS. It's not based on sound science, provably. So, yeah, man, and not only that, Jason and I got kicked in the way of us again doing this interview today when malaria came up. That's something I actually looked into with quinine and all. Turns out malaria is no different than anything else we've looked at. It's a pile of hooey. As a matter of fact, people in that part of the world get sick will actually state in their native language, I have a mild case of the malaria. Unreal.
So...
I hear crickets, Jason. What did I say?
Oh, it's okay. I'm there's a little bit of a lag on TFR that I got used to with you, so I always pause a moment before I jump on somebody, just to not sound unprofessional. But I guess I let it go too long that time. But anyway, what I would like to get across to everybody, because I know we reach a lot of people here. Don't. I'm seeing what's going on. I saw an article just a little while ago, about 2 hours ago, in fact, that they're doing tests on vaccines. So keep this in mind when you start hearing whatever the next stage of this is going to be. Also, San Francisco is starting to do lockdowns. So don't panic if they start doing crazy stuff around. Like, what I'm seeing is I had to stop and get things for Rose today and all that, and I see people getting just massive amounts of stuff. It's like, what are you doing, man? This is we're not going to war. This is a bug, and it's going to come and it's going to go. So don't freak out. Like, keep calm. I can't stress that enough. I can feel the palpitation in the air, you know?
Jeran, share that picture. I went to the grocery store today just to get a few items that we needed, and it's crazy what's going on there. There was somebody wearing basically a hazmat face mask, and I cleared my throat when I was near them. I just had a little, and they flipped out. It was
cowardly. We have become. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Bring it up right now. Give me a second.
Well, all the people who aren't really doing what we do, I mean, I get it. They still believe what the news is telling them. So I understand why they're panicking. But
okay.
The kind of people that come here, though, they're not like that.
When the world gets locked down to this level, doesn't an adult human being say, unless there's damn bodies laying around, this is so far beyond the pale? And I hate to be blunt like that, but I mean, come on. Every freedom, and this is not just us, this is going on everywhere in many countries. I get email from everywhere. Spain, unreal. Italy, unreal. And they're telling people they can't go to work. People in Spain were emailing me, telling me how high the rents are there and what a hardship. Like, they're wondering if they can even keep where they live, missing work like this. Your child can't go to school. Now I'm starting to get emails from people, and this is in the United States, more than one now, claiming that when the kids were taken out of the school, 5G teams are now putting 5G into some of the schools, and then there's the additional claim that some of the 5G teams look like cleanup crews or, detox crews. These things need to be vetted, but I mean, how did this become the new normal where it's not just a few of us who research for a living saying, are you people out of your damn minds? This should be like 90% of everybody who has 3 brain cells left to rub together.
Well, I think you're right. It's fear. It all has to do with the fear. And
it's cowardice.
7,500 people supposedly die in the USA every day.
We should call it what it is. It's cowardice.
It is cowardice. And thank you, by the way, to the super chats. Ronald Ansay and Deliberate Creation says, keep slaying the propaganda, brother, Jeran and panel. We will keep doing the best we can. And you're right, Jason. I mean, at least the people here are not those people that are succumbing to everything that the news says and feeling that that's their livelihood. That's their life. That's what they are all about, is just listening to the news. And imagine the news. They're loving it right now. People are watching nonstop.
Well, sure. You can mainline the fear. Yeah, it's a fix.
Well, even the some of the sleepy people, they were even starting to get a little leery of the news because how much stuff was coming out. Well, to be blunt, that they're full of shit. But this drugged them right back in, I would suggest. And what a shame, because I think they were starting to get it.
And if you think about it, as worthless as it may be to watch sports, at least people out there who didn't want to listen to this could tune into sports and not have to watch the news. Well, what did they do? They took that all off the TV. Yeah. Now you've got no choice. There's nothing on TV if anybody wants to watch TV, which they shouldn't be doing anyway. But if they're there, there's no choice but to find some COVID-19 special, how to keep yourself and your family and your friends safe.
And whenever you watch a video on YouTube, the next one up, at least for me, is a mainstream, nonstop COVID-19 report on how bad it is, how awful it is. And then something new just happened tonight.
List to the right is also.
Yeah, tonight when the whole list on the right it's insane. But tonight when I opened up YouTube, a pop-up came up on top of the whole YouTube about special COVID-19 warning, and then we've also started getting text messages and robocalls from town officials. It's insane.
If anyone isn't convinced that one small group of very powerful individuals control all media, just Go ahead and take a look around right now, and then try to make that assertion again. This is proof, and the only thing that allows this to work is cowardice. And I hate to keep saying it, but I'm calling a spade, man. If people stood up in the way Jason and I have been going 13 hours a day for nearly 2 weeks, if everybody, however they can react, even if it's just a phone call to the school saying, "Are you out of your damn mind? There's no bodies in the street. I don't know anyone who's sick. What are you doing?" Just simple things. If a lot of us did that, this would go away pretty quick, because part of what appears to be going on is to test how far can we go. This is not even the main event, guys. It's going to change everything, but it is not even the main event.
Crow, but in Italy, thousands of people have died, and we're next. We're just behind them. This is what the people are saying out there, and that we need to, do the protocol, separate everybody and quarantine everybody. It's the only responsible thing to do. This is what people are saying. So the question is, who are these thousands of people? I mean, where are these numbers coming from? Do we have any names? Do we have any family members we can talk to? Are there any?
No, I hunt poppycocks for a living, and I shot 3 in my backyard today. I'll mail you one. Owen Benjamin, say what you will about Owen, but that man has values that he will not bend on, apparently, at any cost.
Don't say what you will about Owen.
No, but
only say nice things about Owen. I'm sorry.
People, I don't have anything bad to say, but a lot of people have an opinion there. But my point is, if we have more people that said, this is what I choose to accept as right, and I'll stand up hell or high water for what I think is right. The other day, he put out a clip that said, "Give me one name," and I thought that's brilliant. Go ahead, give me a name, and while you're at it, give me another. What did you say? How many people are dead?
Thousands and thousands in Italy. That's
all
what
right.
People,
so I'll settle for a small percentage. Send me 5,000 names since you're counting. I mean, come on here.
Yeah, and where are the family members? The crisis acting is the worst. And if this was happening, there would be family members protesting and screaming for the vaccine or for justice or for whatever. There's none of that. None.
Dave, did you see? I think on Friday's show I showed where Denmark has already said that they are going to have a mandatory vaccine, so it's coming.
Yeah, they're already testing it here now. They're giving it to 45 young men.
Yeah, sorry, that's an illegal order. You can put a gun in my face. You're not sticking anything in my veins.
Hey, Crow, we got 2 minutes left before the break. When they say we've passed the law for mandatory vaccination, well, that's not a real law. It's only if they come knock on your door and say there's mandatory vaccination or whatever, and you go and willingly hold your arm out, that's your mistake, because there is no law.
Then you've contracted with them.
Yeah.
What the average person, if push comes to shove, probably the best thing to do is say, I'd be glad to take your vaccination if you can show me there are no heavy metals, no aluminum, no danger to my health, that there is actually
cells.
That it actually has an effect on curing people from a thing called viruses. And you say, sure, I'll take it if you can demonstrate all these things. Then I'll enter into your contract. We're having Kurt on tomorrow. We got Kurt calling back tomorrow, and believe me, these things will be coming up. But so many people don't understand how the Admiralty nonsense works, and unfortunately, negative language is used against you. Like, I will not do that. Doesn't work. You have to play this stupid game, like everything else about their stupid system, where you say, sure, I'd be happy to take your shot. Just demonstrate to me that there's no dangerous chemicals in it, that it's not toxic, that it won't hurt me, that it actually cures something. If you can demonstrate those things, I'd be happy to take your shot. And that's everybody's right. And that's within the legal scope of a system that they've built, whatever the hell moniker you want to put on the system of law that lawyers seem to be unaware of. So I'm just saying, people need to wake up and grow up and do their homework and understand that this is coming. And it's coming more and more until enough people stand up and say, we've had enough of this. Nobody's dying. There are not dead people all over my neighborhood. Matter of fact, there's not even sick people all over my neighborhood. My wife and I took my almost 90-year-old mom out to lunch the other morning, and the people behind us were making fun of COVID.
All right, guys, back. You're listening to Monday Night Raw.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? iLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to iLife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find us on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER to get $10 off your first box. As a special bonus, we will include our #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. Whatever your diet plans are, start with us at faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Raw. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got Crow and Jason and David. Thanks for the super chat from Joseph Paul, who says, Eastern North Carolina is swirling with pollen and we are looking suspicious. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Swirling with pollen. And Manifest Magical says, Jeran and Dave, please get Matt Landman on your show. Dave, what do you think?
Matt's a good guy. Matt does great work. I don't 100% agree with everything he does, but I would say I agree with 92.5% of it. He's a great guy. Love to have him on.
All right.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm always open to having anybody on the show, even if they...
Matt's making EMF clothing, and he has an EMF hat. So it's a tinfoil lined hat. Isn't that funny?
I have one.
I want one.
I want one.
He sent one to me when he first made them up. They're awesome, actually. I wear it when I get this. That's what I wear when I go shooting down on the pier and around New Orleans, so that my hair stays out of my eyes when I'm trying to do it with all the wind down.
Tinfoil hat.
I wear a tinfoil hat, man. It's actually silver lined, but you know.
We just call it. That's a rich person's tinfoil hat.
Hey, Crow and Jason, I wanted to ask you just because something came up on Globebusters yesterday. It's always a hot topic. I asked Dave today. He didn't give me a good answer. Wondering where you guys stand on the Mandela effect.
You gonna take it, Jason? You want me to?
Oh, go ahead. I'll follow up.
You ever been to Vegas and seen the white tiger fly across the room? That's where I'm going with it. There are some things that are very hard to discount, but this is all sleight of hand. It has to be. If it's not, then we're all in trouble. So if you want to believe that the writing on the page of a book can be changed or a video that was recorded 30 years ago, you might as well just hang up your spurs. There's no way to beat that game. That would mean...
What I said.
So if you want to be a common sense person, and I'm more than willing to get it wrong to hold on to common sense, you have to understand that it's sleight of hand in some way. Some ways I've been able to work out how it was probably done. It was planned from the beginning, so there were two sets of things made. Other ways, not so easy. But we haven't, honestly, to this day, Jason and I have not focused on Mandela. A lot of what we do here is risk and reward. Can we communicate without pissing off a ton of people? Like, we're about to cover the mud flood. And so right now is the wrong time to release that because we're going to dissent from the idea that somehow there was a global reset. And so when Jason and I dissent in that way, even though we try to do it as politely as we can and say there's still a lot of good research in all this, it's going to cause dissent. And so at the level of research that we do know, how we always have to measure risk and reward. Are more people going to have the opportunity to consider a thing, or is more trouble going to start as a result of what we've said? And so right now, Mandela, I don't know, maybe it's eased up a bit, but I'm a common sense guy. It's sleight of hand. You just got to work out how they did the trick. And by the way, if you can watch Penn and Teller on television and you can't figure, and you got stop, pause, and rewind, and you still can't figure out how some of those tricks are done, it ought to cue you up to what we're talking about here.
Yeah, good point.
You know, there's something to it, but the problem is, if you take it all the way, it means that the universe itself is changing in some way. Time is changing, or our consciousness is changing. It's an incredibly fascinating subject, but those are huge stretches. It's like, is that really what you want to accept? And if you do, that's cool. But I figured a few of them out. There's a few things I found that were just practical things that if you did a little digging, you could figure it out. But there's one that I definitely know that for me personally is a thing, and that's the Moonraker clip. And I think that gets a lot of people who are a little bit older, because I'm old enough that I saw Moonraker with my father in 1979 in the movie theaters. So I'm assuming most people know what I'm talking about, but in the original, the girl had braces. Everybody knows that she had braces, and now all of a sudden the girl doesn't have braces. And what is this? So you have to ask yourself, was this the universe or time changing or something like that, or was this a psyop set up ahead of time?
Well,
I can't answer that, but
let's look at what is the content being covered. Oh, that's right, it's the British CIA. That's what that storyline is about. And by the way, 007 encodes Tubal Cain. That's what the logo 007 means. It resides in Google as well. As a matter of fact, if you want to go get one of the most popular albums of my generation, it's Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Open it up and look inside. Tubal Cain is being encoded there. Fleetwood's got the balls hanging. Stevie Nicks is connecting Fleetwood and pointing up to Lindsey Buckingham, hint, 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 who is holding the cane. But the shape of the cane is that odd symbol that stands for the cane in Tubal Cain, encoding the line of Cain. So even if we want to get occult about it, we need to really, from my point of view, go no further than what is the topic being covered? What's this about? What is it representing? And that begins to give us clues to what it is we're looking at. So you know, Jason, if they were going to fake a thing, wouldn't that be just about the best? You know, the British Secret Service, or you know, their spies. Wouldn't that be just about the best place to do it?
Well, it's just something you have to consider for yourself, The
Moonraker one is the one that really got me scratching my head. And I actually went out and found an old VHS of it. And when I got to that point and I went through it frame by frame, it was blurry. Like she had braces, but you couldn't see them. And I just remember when she smiled, it was clear that she had braces.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
It was so strange. So what the answer that Jeran didn't like when he asked me earlier is my answer was every time I look into the Mandela effect, my opinion changes.
Well, how hard would it, if you were going to pre-set up this sleight of hand and you were going to issue the VHSs and you would blur it? So how hard is that as part of a sleight of hand effort? And also, for that matter, how hard is it to have more than one cut? And by the way, how hard would it be the cut that actually shows the braces everyone remembers? How hard would it be to make that the crappiest quality tape that ever was, that it's engineered to fail after 10 plays? Mm-hmm. There's ways to do this.
Sure.
Go look at Penn and Teller. You know what? I don't watch a lot of TV, but I used to record that just so I could prove to myself I'm not an idiot. And I would figure out every single trick. And with few exceptions, I knew what was going down. And a lot of times I didn't even have to rewind. And part of the way I did it was to not look at what was just done and then think of the possible ways it could have been faked and then go back and review it if I hadn't already figured it out. But that's a good exercise, because what's happening there is you're being impressed by the idea that something magical is happening here, when you know damn well it's all sleight of hand, when you know damn well it's all fooling your mind. And those are good exercises, particularly in the modern age, to not be impressed to the point where you think it's something special. It's just sneaky. Yeah.
It reminds me of the card trick that you did at the conference, and how we did a whole show on everybody thinking of they just didn't stop and think what could possibly be going on here. If they would have figured out the trick. But I think it's a great exercise. Test Rat 11 said, I used the religious exemption against vaccines for my kids right through high school. It's super easy and kind of freaks them out, as I never heard back. Yeah, well, the problem is I don't think that's allowed in states like California anymore. They just...
Well, I would add, is it really not allowed, or have people just not asserted their rights enough? Because apparently this country was founded on your right to religious freedom. So that would be an infringement on someone's religious freedom. So it seems to me a lot of what's going on here is I got a bulldog on a chain, and if you don't do what I say, I'm going to let him off the chain. Where in actuality, he's got a poodle that looks mean, and it's not coming off the chain if anyone stands their ground. I would suggest that if there is anything left of the world that has not gone completely bizarro, that enough people standing up to challenge these things will put holes in it. The problem is I'm sure a lot of people already have, but you ain't seeing that on the news anymore. You now officially know who owns the news and what it's for. And every word out of that television is a lie.
I equate the mandatory vaccine to, what if they wrote a law that said they can come and cut off your little finger?
Right.
It's law. If they voted on it, it passed unanimously, and now they can cut off your little finger. You're an idiot if you succumb to that. You are responsible for your body, and nobody can stick any poison into you.
But let's be honest about how it actually gets implemented. Let's go back to Penn and Teller. These dudes are not dumb. These men and women are not stupid. They're probably many times smarter than most of us. What they actually do is they set up a situation where your kid's not going to get admitted to school, or some other service like hospitals you're supposedly now not allowed to partake in. That's usually how you're coerced into these things. But my point is, here we are, man. If everyone can't see that we're looking at the biggest coup d'etat in history, and desperate times, desperate measures. So really, what will you stick your arm out for?
You can't cross state lines. You can't get free food. If you don't get the vaccination, they could do that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that just need challenging, and unfortunately, I think mostly we are scared to death, little diaper-wearing society that needs to get back to what we once were. I don't think this would have flew for 5 seconds in the 70s. I think in the 70s, people would have been frickin' rolling up their sleeves and grabbing their pitchforks. It's a different world now, but this has just started. Yeah.
People don't have pitchforks anymore. They have iPhones.
Well, that's part of the problem. And the other part of the problem is they've been drinking fluoridated water, and the food they're getting in the grocery stores not giving them a lot of nutrition.
But it's good for your teeth.
Is it?
Boy.
No, it's not.
I got a Venmo here from somebody who says social distancing discourages people from talking in groups. In private, whenever we are communicating over social media, text, telephone, the world leaders can keep better controls on who is talking to who about what. Well, I certainly think that's the case when you're talking about, they don't want people getting together in large gatherings, because if you do it on the internet, there's the group that flips out if you dare make a comment that you don't agree with the COVID-19, you think the coronavirus is a hoax. Immediately you will get bashed by the people on Facebook or Instagram.
Right. Just think about when let's say, you're the truth seeker, you've done the research and you know about the things that we know about, and you go to a party of normies and it happens, the COVID-19 comes up or flat earth comes up, and you're the only one there that is awake and aware to what's obviously false and what's and what the truths are, and you're trying to explain it to people. Well, you're only so powerful, but what if there was somebody else next to you, like Crow or me or Jason or Jeran, with that could help you? So two people together is 100 times more powerful than one person alone. That's why when we have these meetups, you get 7 flat earthers together, or 20 or 300. It's an amazing amount of power, and they're separating us from using our power, because when people learn about the deceptions in this world, and the first thing they say is, well, I'm nobody, they're too powerful, I can't do anything about it. That's the psyop right there. I have no power.
Psyop. That is the psyop right there. You just nailed it. You gave up before you started.
Yeah. So, and saying I can't do it. We are so much more powerful than these. I don't even know what to call them. Crow, you probably have a word, but we are so much more powerful, and together we have so much more power, because when you're with somebody, you have more confidence, you have more energetic power. I truly believe that this world is run with wizards. These are wizards that run this world, and they have, they use this energy and the sign, symbols, numbers, and colors to program our minds, to program our thoughts, and separating us is the last thing you need to do to depower our thought field.
Well, there's a thing I would point out. Back in the day, it was not uncommon for a person in a room with a lot of people to stand up and say, "What the hell are all you doing? This is not right." And that's a thing we've lost. Very rarely will you ever see a person in a large group of people dissent against the whole crowd, even though there's tons of people in there that know what's going on is unacceptable. When I was in my 20s, I got into an easement dispute, and the whole neighborhood had ganged up against me. And they were doing some pretty terrible things to me because I was still young and I was trying to stand my ground. One neighbor, nicest guy in the whole neighborhood, last guy you'd expect, walked right into the middle and said, "What the hell is wrong with all you people?" And he read them the riot act politely, letting them know that what you're doing is wrong. I know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. And I'm just saying that someone who wants to act like an adult and point out that this is complete fear porn, overreach nonsense, that's not a very difficult thing to defend. Because even someone afraid of actual viruses, which most people are right now, is going to realize that there is no evidence whatsoever for even a fraction of what we see going on.
Hey, Jeran?
Yeah.
If you're cool with it, Rose is on the 818 number on the call board and would like to say something.
Would love to have her on. Yep, sure. 818. Welcome, Rose, to the show. All right.
Hello there, Jeran, Jason, and David. This is Rose with some breaking news.
No, Crow? He's here too.
Oh, Crow. Yes, that's true. I'm just used to talking to you so much anyway. Anyway, you guys, Jason, the article that you read is outdated, and according to the nurses here at a local hospital, that's old news. This is what is currently going on in the French Quarter as of today. Now, you are not allowed to sit inside restaurants. You can only take out food and go through drive-thrus. So that means that waiters and waitresses are not able to work. If we tried to go to Landry's right now in the French Quarter, we would not be able to go inside. We could just take out. So it's not about decreasing seating anymore. There is no more seating.
Is there any language in there that they slide in that lets you know it's a suggestion, or is it all language that asserts itself as a dictate?
Well, what I asked before I called was, are you absolutely sure that this is happening right now? And I was told, yes, it's absolutely happening. I'm sitting next to them. I was with two nurses, and both of them confirmed this firsthand. This is what's occurring in New Orleans now.
Are you?
So that's all I wanted to add.
Are they listening to the show right now?
Yeah, they were listening, but not right now because I'm on the phone. I took it off speakerphone. Do you want to talk to her?
No, I'm good. Unless you guys want to.
You opened your mouth, David. You got to do it now.
I was just curious if she was like the hospital, the nurses.
Is there a nurse who will give her opinion on things?
Yes, she was right here, but she just left.
She saw you get on the air.
She's dealing with the influx of corona patients.
Jason,
she
heard Jason reading the article.
You're going to get a nurse in trouble.
All right, never mind then. I guess that's that. But I'm glad you updated that. That's kind of scary because the French Quarter lives off of its restaurants.
Tourism.
Yeah, that is it. That's the only reason it's still surviving is the massive amount of tourism. So goodness knows what damage that this whole thing is going to cause economically. And of course, as we were saying earlier, this might be the plan.
I heard rumors earlier today, which I wasn't going to mention.
In a place like the French Quarter.
Sorry,
I'm
Rose.
going to let you go, and I appreciate you taking my call.
All right, thanks
Rose.
Time.
What I was going to mention is there's rumors that there was a bank run in New York earlier. I think it's pretty clear. We all know the economy is getting smashed to some degree, but also people have gone to banks to try to pull out a few grand and been told, sorry, that's too much. Nobody's making deposits because they closed all the businesses. It's like Jason and I were talking to a friend, and he said, there's no one group of people who control all this. And I said, well, actually, if you look at what's going on, it's just that the buttons have been pushed, and then we make it all happen, right? Do we really carefully read, is it really truly dictated by the governor that we can't go in and sit somewhere? Or, as they revealed on the news, has it been suggested? Is it really truly a legally defendable position to tell you and your 10 friends can't stand here on the sidewalk? Or are they just trying to imply? You see, this is a big part of it too. For my part, I'm not going to change how I live one iota. There's nothing wrong with the way I live. I'm not harming anyone. I'll gather, go in, do whatever I want. And I think people should think in that way.
Yeah, and you're right, Jason. I just am reading here, San Francisco says bars, gyms, restaurants will close at midnight and are not to reopen. So you're again, though, Crow, who is this coming from?
Jeran, don't exaggerate. It says 12:01 a.m.
Is any of it legal, or is it all HR puff and stuff? Does it appear to be a pit bull that's actually a Pomeranian?
Yeah, it might be. It's just this, one person on Twitter with a little check mark. Effective at midnight, San Francisco. Where's the link to whatever where are you getting this from? They're just basically saying it. And on the up, Josh Brown's Spiral Life sent a super chat. He says, "Spot on about our power dearth. I just uploaded a video about this yesterday. Much love, guys." Zayla Raiden said, "Same. Where's the names of the infected or deaths?" The reason I don't want to give them to you is because you'll find out that they're all 80 or 90-year-olds who probably would have passed anyway, considering 7,500 people die in the USA every day, and yet there's like 60 people who have died in the USA, supposedly, from the coronavirus.
Plus it gets telling if you write John Smith too many times in a row.
If San Francisco is the first one, then I think that's just an excuse because you know how California is. They want to be the first for everything when it comes to whatever you want to call it. I don't want to insult people from California, mostly because I'm dating one. But you know how California can be.
You also work with one. You better watch it, dude. No.
That's right, San Diego boy.
I'm right too. I know how it is, though. I certainly am not going to be defending California's decision. That'll be the last thing I do.
Right, and I just wonder, is it a California city that's doing it first just so they can have everyone looking at that, and then all of a sudden that's the first domino to fall?
Well, you can see historically that big things that have happened in California always set the stage for the rest of the country, particularly when it comes to places like San Francisco and LA. But I would estimate for a good 25 years, what the legal side of the House and the legislature has done reflects not one iota on what the people of California are actually like. As a matter of fact, how is it that marijuana wasn't legalized there first? It was the only logical thing to do. And what in fact happens is they put it on a ballot with the gay marry agenda thing. And then the Mormons came in from Utah and poured about, I don't know, it was $30 or $40 million at it, making sure that the legalization didn't occur there and making sure that they got the vote they wanted on the gay marriage issue. So basically, California is kind of like a testing ground. And when they get what they want there, it echoes back across the country quite often. At least historically, it's done that.
Hey, I want to bring up something before the break, and it's the fact that when you try to have a rational conversation about the Karunu with somebody that just watches the news and believes, and all the other nonsense, even when you show them facts, you talk about viruses, you give them good information, they just deny it. They deny it like a globe believer denies the fact that we can see too far, the fact that water lays level. It's on the same level of denial of undeniable things. How do they do that to us, Crow? How do they have people
Morpheus told you the whole truth, right? Morpheus is talking to Neo, and he said, hey, Neo, you see all these people? All the ones we haven't woke up yet are potentially agents of the system. You're being told a true thing there. So you're looking at a person who hasn't been woke up by Morpheus yet, and they're in fact an agent of the system. And this is the problem. This is the problem with the hyper reality of the digital age, all the faces and TVs and screens all the time, the water supply being tainted. It's just so many things have come to this, but it's still not a pass to not act like an adult. And when new information is offered up on a level, you've got to do what's right here. If it matters what you're being told, you got to look into it. At least you've got to try to look into it. But I have a feeling that if there is a day to be won here, it's going to be won by not too many people risking a lot. And each person here, you're now the epicenter. If on the tail end in a week or two, when all this frontery nonsense, this initial push to see how far they can go, you have already tagged yourself as a dissenter, and you don't know what the outcome of these things was going to be. But the point is it, at first that bothered me, but it doesn't bother me because it's the only right thing to do. So it sucks that there's a downside maybe, but it doesn't matter that there's a downside because it's the only thing to do. What's right is right.
Right now, I believe we're kind of in a no-win situation where if they push this a little farther, lock us down, then come the very beginning of April, they'll say, hey, guess what? The virus died out because we social distance ourselves. It worked. And the virus is away, and they'll unwind this whole thing. And, all the damage to the economy has been done. But everyone will be relieved, and the government are going to be our heroes because they stopped this horrible, deadly virus that would have killed 200 or 300 people, maybe. And then they'll be deemed as the heroes. We'll be deemed as, thank God you didn't have your way. Thank God, we're gonna be the villains. And the reality is, come the first week in April, it's when cold and flu season ends.
Well, I'll point out a thing, though. By the way, where I am in my geography and David's geography, today is the equinox. I mark that event as solar noon today, not noon on your clock, but solar noon, when the sun's at its apex. All serious alchemical procedures, big ones that matter, start in the spring. That's today. All right? And I was going to ask you, you don't think they're going all the way to the summer solstice on this one? I've been wondering. You think they're going to push for June 21? They're going to do the full alchemical, onslaught here? because it sure feels to me like that's possible, but maybe you're right. Maybe we'll only see April.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere. Well, actually, we're going off of YouTube. We'll be at DLive. We'll be at TFR, taking your phone calls. See you guys on the other side. Listen to it.
As if we're really just born to die. I'd rather not anymore. Stay in school, they say.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
New ways to stay safe. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. President Trump recommending new guidelines to stop the coronavirus from spreading.
As we combat the virus, each and every one of us has a critical role to play.
They include avoiding bars, restaurants, and gatherings of more than 10 people.
I'm also pleased to report today that a vaccine candidate has begun the phase 1 clinical trial. This is one of the fastest vaccine development launches in history. Not even close. We're also racing to develop antiviral therapies and other treatments, and we've had some promising results.
The president ruling out a nationwide quarantine for now. Officials in San Francisco Bay Area counties rolling out sweeping restrictions to fight the virus.
Santa Clara, San Mateo, Marin, Contra Costa, Alameda, and San Francisco have joined together to ask their residents to stay home until April 7th, except for accessing essential services. San Francisco County's Director of Health, Grant Colfax, said there are plenty of exceptions.
You will still be able to walk your dog or go on a hike alone or with someone you live with or even with another person, as long as you keep 6 feet between you.
Police, fire, healthcare, and sanitation services are still operating, and grocery stores, banks, gas stations, and hardware stores will remain open as well.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Coronavirus fears driving stocks deep into the red, the Dow plunging nearly 3,000 points.
Markets continue to struggle with concerns that emergency measures won't ward off a recession. Yesterday, the Fed slashing interest rates to near 0%. Among the biggest losers today, financials, with shares of Citigroup, Bank of America, and JP Morgan Chase each declining more than 13%. The biggest Dow decliner, Boeing. The Nasdaq down 970, S&P 500 down 325.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. America is listening to Fox News.
You must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Walk like us. They even talk like us. Walk like us. But they are not like us. On the weekday, you can see the signs, you can see the signs. They wear the disguise. Look into the mind's eye. There's nowhere to hide. Don't stick to the lines. Whispers from afar.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism RAW. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming on over to TFR or DLive. Appreciate you guys being here. We also have Jason and Crow and Dearth with us. Dave, what did you think about the news in between the segments there?
Unbelievable. Yeah, now it's 12 feet, did they say? You can go for a walk with somebody that you live with, but you have to be 12 feet away or 6 feet. What did they say?
I think they said 6 feet, but it was very important to, just to go off what Crow said, they said, San Francisco is asking their residents.
Yeah.
There's your pit bull. It's actually a Pomeranian. Go do whatever the hell you want. By the way, Jeran, I love your Bing COVID tracker because the first thing that came to mind is this map. Is this map actually showing us the places that don't exist as described? I mean, look at it and think about what I just said.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's just nothing down there.
You want to know where the real places are in the world?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you wonder why they say 95% of the people live in the northern hemisphere. Oh, yeah, it makes all sense when you look at the map or the AE map.
Hey, wait a second. That Antarctica looks pretty big.
That's because they're hiding a whole world down there, in case you haven't heard. If you go south from anywhere in the world, there's like...
Hey, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no internal combustion, no chemtrails. Everything's organic, high technology. You know what? It's where they hid Wakanda.
That's great.
I do have some family members that are really onto this, though. That's good. I think there's more people than we know. And again, we can't go meet with them in public, so how would we even know? But I just saw somebody texted my whole family and says, I just watched this on the news. There are 9 confirmed cases in the entire Bay Area, so they shut down an area of 9 million people. More than 9 would die tomorrow just from car wrecks. People are absolutely crazy. This is dumb.
So the one thing that you just pointed out when you opened is the most important thing. Words have meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Don't read words and act like you know a thing. Pay attention to them. Half of this stuff is just being implied and then read in a way that feels like a dictate. And then fearful people say, well, that's a dictate. I got to go with the dictate. When actually, if you read carefully, even from the outset, I'm not kidding you, how do you call something like this novel? How do you tell people that this big thing that's going to take over the world is presumptive? If you look up those 2 words alone, you would have been an insider from the outset. But what you pointed out, Jeran, they're suggesting. Well, no, thank you. I don't accept your suggestion. And by the way, I'm going to go eat in a restaurant. I'm going to tip the waitress really well because I know she needs the money right now.
Right. This map on the on the Bing thing is hilarious. I'm just looking at all the countries.
There it is.
And they all have the one case. I guess these one people somehow got deep into there without infecting everybody they passed by. Imagine that. Too funny.
Now there's a group of people in our, searching for truth community that have different beliefs. Some believe that, in 7 to 10 days, the United States is going to be overrun with sick people. The hospital.
I'll take that bet. Can you hook me up with them? I'll give them 10 to 1 odds.
You going to take the under?
I'll take the lowest. I'll take below my sandal odds on this one.
And then there's others that think whether it's real or fake that that it's just to keep us out of public places, no sports gatherings, no schools, no churches, no gatherings of people. So while they arrest all of the cabal, all of the
I've heard
people
this.
in government and movies or whatever, all the people that have done unspeakable things, that they won't be able to pull off a mass shooting. Great story, love it. Can't rule it out. Don't think it's going to happen.
Let's address that. I got one of those emails today listing all the pedophiles and wrongdoers and people in the Vatican that were going to be arrested. And I wrote a single line. Is there any evidence for any of this, or are you just talking smack?
It's a great story. It's a great story.
No, it's really not, because this is what happened last time around, too, where they convinced people during the last crash that all these people were going to be brought to justice. As a matter of fact, that was an email exchange I just mentioned. The last thing I pointed out is justice is just us. And what you're doing with these emails is you're doing a release valve. Someone reads that and they think, oh, see, there still are some good people looking out for us in the world. Look at all these people going to get arrested. And it's a psyop. Someone invented that to be a pressure release.
I can't prove that wrong.
No.
You can't prove it right, so it must be right. If you can't show evidence that any of that's true, then what's going on here?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it goes deep. I mean, with all of the, I'm not a big follower of Q. I did, I did for a while keep track of some of the stuff, and it's definitely an inside source. Now that could be the psyop. It could be the bad guys. It could be the good guys. I have no idea. It's just, to me, it's fascinating.
God,
and
Jason,
it's fascinating how it captured so many minds.
I was going to say, God, Jason, I wish I could talk about Q openly.
You can.
Well,
can't. We're on TFR.
I can tell you one thing. It's fake.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's not arguably fake. I know for a fact it is fake. I just can't talk about it.
I've never.
Yeah. I know what he's talking about. So
you have some inside information from somebody that you can't reveal that says it's fake.
Did you catch 203.5.1 or whatever ridiculous number we had to put on our shadow information source?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question for you? That's a completely different source. I get contacted so many times in a week, and I'll be talking, and I'll instantly come to the front of my head, this guy's got to be under a non-disclosure. So I will say, are you under a non-disclosure? Yeah. And I'm saying, well, then why are we talking? You promised, and now I know you promised. We're done here. Then other times, I'll be talking. I'll say, are you under any kind of an agreement? No. And then as the conversation progresses, you begin to realize there is no way in hell you could put this information out without endangering somebody. And so you walk away. You put it in your brain housing development organization for later. Maybe it'll be useful, but, this is the problem.
You know what's real, Crow? Sea glass. Sea glass is real.
I'm down with it, man. We used to have a scoring system. What's the most? Okay, let's see what you know about sea glass. So when you're collecting with your best girl and you're going for points, what's the most valuable sea glass?
Blue.
Of course, but there's actually one that trumps blue that I know you haven't thought about. Think about it, and you hardly ever find it. That's right. And why is red more valuable? Because there's gold in it. But anyhow, you do know your sea glass. I'm impressed.
It's the only thing.
How about that?
My wife and I spent so many hundreds of hours in Newport and all over Rhode Island. We used to take all the sea glass and glue it to glass light fixtures, everywhere. We had like bucketfuls of the stuff.
Jeran, share the picture. I texted you a picture.
Sea glass picture?
I just texted you one, yeah.
Well, if you texted it to me, my big number flip phone clamshell is gonna.
Crow has a jitterbug.
Just takes me an extra second because I don't have a Mac, so I have to forward it to my browser, and it takes me a second.
And by the way, there's gradations of blue, right?
There certainly are.
And there's purple, but for some reason they don't rank higher than the blue.
Actually, we found a purple one, and finding that it's a purple blue, and that's rare, but it had letters on it, which was rare, and the letters were an anagram for fish, PHISH.
Wow.
Now, what are these? They're on the screen, Dave.
Those are, we took some of the pieces and we made necklaces out of them.
I actually like that. That's a lighter blue. I like that blue. The deep cobalt
that's the
ones,
fish one.
Yeah, the deep cobalt ones that are well done. We used to. You have to feel the edge, and if there's any chance of a cut, it's not done. You got to throw it back in the oven.
Yeah, we threw some back, but it's real, and there's no conspiracy behind it. It takes the amount of time. We know how it got there. I believe it 100%, and I'd bet my life on it.
I'm with you, man.
That's it.
Nature doesn't lie, and sea glass becomes part of nature.
Does the one on the left count as red or no? That's brown.
No, that's brown, but it's a nice one.
The reds are really red. That's the most common. That brown is the most
we're
common.
collecting them at pages like no more brown ones, and I go, that's racist.
But actually, all these are on the endangered species list because when we were younger, everything came in glass. Now hardly anything does. So technically, there's a lot less beach glass than there used to be.
I like the blue one with the letters. That's the one you're saying, Dave? The one.
So my daughter had just left, and she's a fish head, and we found one that said the anagram for fish on it. It's crazy. I don't know. It's my meditation. It's fun. We walk on the beach. We find these.
It's great.
And and I wrap them in silver wire. There it is.
I'm with you, man. There's something. It connects you to the world, and it puts you in a place where nothing else matters when you're looking for beach glass.
Yep.
As long as you're 6 feet away from the person you're collecting with.
But we had to stay close to each other because we had an earphone. We both were listening to probably a Crow episode while we were doing it.
That's right.
Who is that jackass?
You haven't heard him?
Actually, we're not listening to anything except the waves of the ocean.
All right, you guys want to take some calls and see what people have to say?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Let's go to 785. You're on the air. What's up? 785. Yep, there you are.
Hey, this is Jeran again. So I gotta tell you guys, you probably already feel the same thing. I'm a delivery driver, right? So I deliver to people who don't want to leave their house. I'm surrounded by two different worlds right now happening simultaneously. There's one world where nobody wants to leave their house, and then I drive around and I go to the mall and stores, and I'm surrounded by people who don't give a damn, and they just live their life. And it's like you were saying earlier, the yawn is contagious. It's almost like pick whichever world you want to be in.
What's the ratio?
It's just insane.
What's the ratio?
I couldn't put a number on it, but there seems to be a lot less people out, but they are confident walking around, not giving a shit right now, like any other day. There's less of them, but it's just interesting because I'm watching two different worlds happen simultaneously.
It sounds to me, though, if you're I always talk about the worldview. It's two different worldviews. It's the people with fear and the people without.
Yeah, and I guess, I could have worded that differently. But the funny thing is, okay, I have Tourette's, right? And trying to talk to people or deliver food, and they hear anything that I do or my eyes blink, I do all kinds of weird shit, right? And people will just immediately jump back. It is like I put on my Facebook, I was like, you think you're having a bad day? Try to walk around right now with Tourette's.
Dude, you have the makings of the best comedy sketch ever right there.
Right, so good.
Oh, God, yeah. But, and I think, the first time I called into Jeranism, I was, really nervous, and I thought I was holding in my ticks pretty well. I went back and listened, and I'm like, how the hell did I even carry on a conversation? But it was fun. But, yeah, dude, people see me, and, most people are polite about it, right? I lived my whole life like this. Most people are polite. But some people, they want to be polite, but yet they're like, okay, man, come on. And then I'll take a couple steps back, and I'm like, oh, God, that's hilarious. I'm glad I'm who I am, and I know what I know. Otherwise, I'd have shot myself a long time ago. Oh, man.
Classic call, man.
I'm going to chase this down, the virus not being spreadable. Like everything else, I start off, I don't know. Then I look into it, and I'm like, well, son of a bitch. So I'm going to be chasing that one down for a while. I got to drop off, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks for the call.
Yeah, no problem. Later.
That was a great call.
It was a great call.
Hey, one thing I wanted to say before, and I said it when I streamed with Owen the other day, is people are freaking out. They have to stay home from work because their kids are out of school, and they might be under quarantine. We as Crow said, today was the equinox for our part of the country. Go to the hardware store, buy some 2x10s, build a box, buy some dirt, rip up your yard, create a garden, plant a garden with your kids while you're home. You got a couple weeks to do it. It'll be the most amazing bonding time you ever had. You'll teach them a real world skill that they don't learn in school. And it'll just be an amazing time. And on top of that, you'll have some fresh organic vegetables, and you'll be healthier and happier. So use this opportunity of this, this corona nonsense, to make your family better and stronger.
Look at Weiss with the outstanding advice.
How about that? Let's go to Dottie. Dottie, the 360. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, other than my tooth, but hanging in there.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I deliver for Amazon still, and it's been really crazy seeing the progression of the city, and it's like the people are still all completely normal, but, like, everybody's talking about it, but it's the businesses that are, like, you go into Starbucks, and there's just no chairs in there at all, or no tables, anything like that, and, yeah, I don't know. It's been really interesting, but yeah, I was just collecting sea glass yesterday, and Crow, like, I'm totally with you. Like, when you said what you said about sea glass and just being on the beach, like, yeah, you just get lost with it, and it's so magical and wonderful. And yeah, like, my favorite pieces are the full bottle bottoms. I've found quite a few of those. Those are super awesome. But yeah, it's really cool that you guys are into that too. Because yeah, I just found that.
Where I am, we used to find a lot of what they called blue willow china. You can still find some of it, but when I was a young kid here, that was all over. But we used to think, how cool would it be if the entire sand on the beach was sea glass? And so we used to go down to a rock, and we'd always break all these bottles on it, but it was down in the rocky place. But I'll bet you there's got to be a beach somewhere in the world that's got so much sea glass in it, it's almost colorful.
There is actually. There's one up here. I live in Washington, and so I've been hearing there's one in Bellingham that apparently the shore, like the port there, they used to just dump their trash into the port, and so the beach is literally just completely covered with glass and porcelain. And yeah, I've been really dying to get up there. It's
so cool.
A 2-hour drive for me. So. But yeah, and about the gardening, like, absolutely, if anybody does anything, you should do that, because like, you can get plant seeds for $1 a pack. The dollar store even had them for 25 cents a pack a few weeks ago. So if you can still find those, like, get a ton. And because I just started 24 different plants a couple days ago, and then once those sprout, I'm going to put them in ground and then sprout some more and just fill up my community garden plot. But that's literally the best thing you could ever do right now, because it decreases your stress and you get healthy food, and one plant will produce enough to share with so many people that, I mean, it's just mind blowing. So when
I lived in my apartment, I had a tiny little yard. It wasn't even really a yard, and I got 6 2x12s, cut 2 of them in half. I made 4 boxes 8 feet by 4 feet. I ripped up the grass. I got them set, firmly. I got a bunch of, bags of dirt, filled it up. I grew enough food for my entire neighborhood. It's ridiculous what you can grow in there. And, the tomatoes and just everything. And it was like collecting sea glass. It was awesome.
Jeran just blew my mind. He sent the Fort Bragg Glass Beach link. Look up Fort Bragg Glass Beach. This is what I've always dreamed about. I knew it had to exist somewhere, but I didn't realize it actually existed somewhere.
Yeah, and you know what? I went there when I was so young. I don't remember. I say so young, but I mean like 16 or 17, and just thought nothing of it. Somebody said, "Yeah, have you been to Glass Beach?" No, let's go look. We went and looked, and I guess if I can remember the story that they said, it was because there's a recycling plant nearby, and so the breaking down of all the glass over the years on the beach led to there being this entire beach of glass. And I went there and never thought anything of it again, and now I'm hearing you guys talking like, oh, I remember Glass Beach. That thing was awesome. Some of the pictures are pretty
it's a thing. It's a thing.
It's amazing. Pretty cool.
I can trust. Dave says I can trust it.
It's one thing you can trust, and no matter if there's something you can trust, treasure it.
You know, this almost represents a special thing when you think about it. Because think about the alchemy a human being goes to take silica and other ingredients to make glass. And then after they've discarded it, now this is slowly becoming part of nature again. It's actually technically litter, but it's not. It's not offensive. It's not polluting. So it's kind of special in a lot of ways.
Right. Whenever I find the pieces that are, you know, like the full bottle bottoms with numbers on them. One of them said San Francisco. Like, I just sit there and hold it and like think of the journey that this piece of glass has been on. And yeah, it's really funny to me though, because I am always working in Seattle, and so I mean, there's always broken glass on the street there, and it's hilarious that like that glass is trash, but if I'm on the beach, that glass is special and beautiful, and like I want to collect it. And yeah, it's really hilarious. But I love the sea glass. So
great. How's things elsewhere otherwise in your area? Okay, people flipping out.
Yeah, it's been pretty much insane. We heard last week that like basically all schools are closed for, my son's district is closed for 6 weeks, and that seems to be the standard for most of the state right now. And yeah, I mean, it's like, it's really nice driving into Seattle because there's no traffic. Like, hey, I'll take that bonus, you know, if I have to go to work. And, like, seriously, people, if you need anything, like, order it from Amazon. We're not shutting down in any way at all. So, like, just get your stuff from Amazon. Don't even go to the stores. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, yeah,
Right.
I mean, I guess I can
Illuminati shill confirmed. Amazon's behind this entire thing.
Thanks, Dottie.
We just confirmed it. They'll deliver Corona to your door. I gotta show my wife pictures of this beach, man.
I just got to go there. It was beautiful from what I can remember. It was so long ago, and I wasn't awake of anything, so I didn't appreciate it. But I would love to go back. It's, yeah, in the
I want to make the beach right here by me like this, but then, you know, you're breaking glass. There's actually a portion where people don't walk because it's so rocky, but you feel guilty for breaking the glass, even though you know it's just going to be sand.
We got just a few minutes left. 9:05. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. What's up?
Jason, Crow, David, Jeran, in no particular order.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello, yes. Okay,
How's things up?
So I've got some things written down. Oh, it's insane, man. It's not, the schools are closed down for 3 weeks, not 6, like in Dottie's world. But still, it's insane.
All right, be quick. You got about a minute and a half. I picked you up too close to the break. Go ahead, quick.
I know. So how do they test for corona? Is it like a swab?
Yeah, I heard it's a nasal swab or something.
Okay,
They don't because viruses don't exist.
Right. They developed.
Well, no, I know.
% of people would have anyway. But go ahead.
But well, that's how they do the ancestry and the other DNA crap.
Good point.
Right?
Damn, dude. Good point.
Yeah. So it just seems like it's a profiling situation.
Damn, that's a damn good point. I hadn't even thought one iota. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, anything else? Keep going.
Okay, you guys covered Moonraker, so I'm going to risky business. What did Tom Cruise wear in that scene with the Good Time Rock and Roll?
Butt huggers and a button-down shirt. Oh, and socks.
I'm sorry, what?
Socks, butt huggers, and like a button-up kind of slightly dressed shirt.
Yeah.
What color was the shirt? And what was on his face, if anything?
Pink shirt.
Yeah, it was pinkish, like kind of peachy pinky.
Who said pink?
I did.
Both of us.
It was white. I remember white and Ray-Bans.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Ray-Bans, but that was from the cover of the movie, too. The poster had him in Ray-Bans. Pretty sure.
And Yeah, I remember white shirts, Ray-Bans, the tidy whiteys or whatever, and the socks. But yeah.
All right, thanks, Brian. Talk to you next week. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We got another half hour of your phone calls. This is Jeran from Monday Night Raw.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Your home has needs. It needs a healthy, dry environment all year round. Start by getting rid of the worst air in the basement and crawl space, where the problems begin and make the whole house sick. Introducing the new Smart Wave Ventilation Unit. It has advanced technologies to continuously reduce moisture, mold, and odors, and expel radon, gases, and pollutants. And now, Wave units include carbon monoxide detection to automatically expel air at a high rate and send you an alert. It also has an app so you can remotely monitor the conditions. Wave is a comprehensive, maintenance-free, affordable solution that will transform your entire home. Protect your home and family with what it needs. Give it a new Smart Wave Ventilation Unit. For more information, call 888-717-WAVE. That's 888-717-WAVE. Or go to dryhealthyhome.com. That's dryhealthyhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Fear is a mind killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me too, cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim with TV-alities so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and quench it all with a bit of absurdity. The Ironworks. Break clear of the fear.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, welcome back to Raw. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Usually I go through the support options at this time, but my mouth hurts a little bit too much to do that. So just support the show. Support Crow and Jason. Crow777radio.com. and support this kind of content, or else it's going to go away. So it's their site, $5 a month. Sign up at Patreon. Just support what you like. Authorized.tv.
You're in it for the money. You're doing it for the money. That's the psyop. The fact that, if someone's doing something that they passionately, are inspired to do, you want to support them if you love it. I mean, think what people pay for Netflix. They pay for HBO. They pay for their cable because they like a few stupid shows. Most of us don't have cable. Take that money and support the shows. What's funny is I'm probably subscribed to 15 different channels. I don't think I go to almost any of them to their paid, except Crow. Like, I go to Crow, I download his every week, but like I'm unauthorized.tv. Never been there. From day one, never been there, because I don't need to go there for his.
Right, you can get it on right.
But it's there. Like, if I want to go find a show, I know it's there. So, and I like the content. So there you go.
Any app?
David,
update?
how's the app?
There you go. Thank you, Jason.
There you go.
Thanks. The app's doing good. I'm adding more stuff to it. I filled up all the slots on the web links. We got your podcast up there, and just easy links to some of the Flat Earth podcasts. Paul on the Plane, Roxanne, a whole bunch of stuff. And I keep saying this on shows. People are very uptight about the terms and conditions, because you have to, when you download the new version of the app, you have to accept the new terms and conditions. They're the same as they were before, and they're less than the free calculator would ask you for. It's just the basic stuff that they need to know that you bought the app, so you can reinstall it. And so it needs your location for the weather, but you can turn that off if you want. So besides that, I have the lowest donation on there, which I wanted to do, hey, would you like to donate button, but they won't allow that. It has to be where you're getting something. It can't be a donation. So I made it that the thing that you're paying for is not having to snooze those donations once every month, okay, which takes 3 seconds. But if you don't want to donate the lowest amount that they'll allow, which is 99 cents, go into settings, scroll to the bottom, turn on the widget switch where the pop-up is, and that means you've turned it off. It means you've turned on the snooze for 30 days at a time button. All right? So,
and you're not tracking people? Even if you were, if David shows up on your doorstep, you can definitely tell it's him through the people.
And in the web links, the first one is Zoom Truth, where you can sign up to be tracked yourself.
Exactly. All right,
I'm signed up there, and it's Find Flat Earthers in your area. That's it's good, and the videos. I'm afraid that the YouTube is gonna just decimate that. Like, my channels have 2 strikes right now. I can't upload anything over nonsense. So, I keep doing what I'm doing. I'm looking for other platforms that I can put on there. But it's going well. People are liking it. So, and by the way, if you bought the app and you haven't left a review, just go leave a good review, because there's a lot of people that are so triggered by the fact that they have the opportunity to donate $1 that they're giving me a bunch of 1 stars.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused as to why you got strikes. Or do those end pretty soon? Because what I've been getting a lot lately is they just delete my video due to community guidelines, but I'm not getting a strike for it. So I'm wondering what
was hate speech.
Yeah, but I think that's why they're removing mine. I don't know. Maybe Crow. I mean, have you ever had them where they just delete the video and you don't get any strike for it?
All the ones that have happened recently, every time they've pulled ads, like occasionally I have to go search for all the claimed content to find out.
Right.
They'll remove ads without notifying me, and they've pulled a ton of videos.
I've had it's pulled too, and it's just weird because I'm not getting a strike for it. I wonder why David gets the strike. They don't like you, Dave.
You know what? And they all happen at the same time. Like there's a targeted. They're going back to videos that are 2 years old to say, "Oh, look, this is this guy's suggesting that the small hats were involved." That's hate speech.
Right. Yeah. All right. Let's go to 530. You're on with Jeranism on Raw and the crew. What's going on?
Hey, Jeran. It's William. Hey,
William.
This is a pain to talk to you 6 feet away.
Awesome.
Move further, actually. Move
That
further.
works.
Oh, that doesn't apply to
That
this
was
one,
worth the
sorry.
call right there, William. Thank you. Thanks for the call.
You're welcome. Hey, Jason Crow. Hey, I just wanted to kind of redeem myself. I hung up pretty quick last weekend. I'm quite the jokester, and I honestly didn't think I had coronavirus. I was trying to be funny in a dry sense of humor sort of way. So I apologize about that. But I do got some good news that not everybody's falling for this. So people at my work know it's a bunch of crock and a bunch of pookie. So
What do you do, and how many people?
Well, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say where I work. Just
Okay. You know what? That was a stupid question, but is it a lot of people?
Yeah, no. It's like just me and one other person. So that, but it's a big company, and so our location's small. But we're a ghost town here, so the shelves are emptying out. And I actually had contact with a lady who left here from California and moved to New York. She said all the shelves are empty at the Walmart, like everything in New York. And she told me that a day ago. So pretty crazy. And Jeran, that was the last place I went was Glass Beach at where's that, Fort Bragg. And I went there about 3 months ago. It was when I remember because I was listening to the show Strange World, the one that Shelley and Wendell was on. So it was that weekend, whatever weekend that was. And it was pretty cool. It's when I first started flat smacking strangers because I was so far away from home. I didn't care. So it gave me the courage to do it here closer. So that's what started me meeting flat earthers. So it was pretty cool.
So it still
anyway,
looks good and everything, because it was so long ago that I was there, but still got glass on it, huh?
William, how much more brave are you when you're with somebody else flat smacking?
Yeah, I'm yet to get. So there's a group that meets, and there's a few of us, but nobody's willing to go in the public yet. So it's all good. So we'll, if we're able to meet May the 4th, then we'll go for it. But hopefully everything's calmed down by then, right? So yeah, I think they're trying to control us for whatever reason. They're just conditioning us, I think, to. And there's another end to all this. What it is, I don't know.
Well,
I will say
nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes while everyone's looking at what's in front of our eyes either.
But there is a strategy of war, and I will say this: those who are thinking, the fact that we know it's a lie, they might be using that. So that's us who think are out and about, and they might be doing something else, so they take us out. How? I don't know if it's chemtrails. Who knows? But we might want to keep that in mind as well. Just a thought.
Well, there would be no reason to do all this elaborate stuff if they could just squash us like bugs.
Well, usually they do things. If they can get two birds with a stone, that's kind of. They'll do that. Condition the sheeple that will obey, and at the same time squashing those who won't obey. Think about it. It's a legitimate thought. But I think that's it.
Okay. Thanks, William.
I think they have to get us to agree. They can't just take away our God-given rights. That's the psyop right there. We have these God-given natural rights, and they cannot be taken away. Yes, you can be convinced to give them away, and that's what seems to be happening. But they can't take them away.
When this starts to go away and people look back and say, well, why did it go away? It's going to be because the great and powerful government shut down everything and did social distancing and closed down bars and closed down restaurants. And if it wasn't for all their intelligence and magnificent brains, then we'd all be dead. So it's going to be just more for people to fall in line and give away more liberties. It's like 9/11 all over again with probably about the same amount of purported deaths. in the end. Let's go to 860. You're on with Jeranism RAW. Who's this?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you too well.
Doing good. Go ahead.
Oh, great! I love all three of you guys. I've been watching you for years. I got into the flat Earth movement maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just want to say God bless you. Even if you're not into that, I just want to say God bless you because you guys are doing great work. If it wasn't for you guys, so many people would be lost and just still in the darkness. But we're finding out what's really going on. We're finding the truth. And this whole coronavirus thing, to me, in my opinion, is a joke. It's all hype. And people weren't scared. And now that they're shutting everything down, people are finally scared. And it's working for them. But I will say that the majority of people, I think, aren't scared. But there's that minority that's the loudest. So anyway, go on from there.
All right, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. And I think you're right. Again, I think it comes down to those who are going to continue their lives as normal because they live without fear. And then the other people who are so inundated with fear, it's how they live their lives. This is going to affect them the best. And as far as the God blessing, I'll take that any day.
I think he means it more towards me because he's from Connecticut with that 860 number. So you're on the far end. Crow gets a little more.
Didn't you hear when he called in? He said he
3 people. He didn't even know you were here, Dave.
Oh, wow. I think it's done by location, not by name. Come on.
All I know is I was 2. I was clearly 2.
Go to the 240. Right, that call. Who's this? What did I say? 240.
Lord, Darren, what the hell is going on over there? This is Keith.
What's up, Keith? What's going on where? In California?
No, I'm coming from Maryland. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you fine. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm coming from Maryland. I'm the guy who called in about fluoride a couple times, and I think Antarctica last time. You guys about Antarctica? How's everybody doing tonight in the world of the apocalypse?
It's all coming to an end.
Yeah.
Some people's got some people.
Man, I tell you, it's rough for me because I go door to door for a living. I tell people door to door on fluoride on a daily basis, and I had to quit. I'm taking a hiatus because people are just too freaked out, man.
They won't even answer the door?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I mean, some of them do, but it's just part of what I do, the magic to it is I kind of take them into a different mindset when I'm speaking with them, and that way I'm able to sort of slide the truth of fluoride underneath the veil of deception that they're used to.
Wait, so you said
I can't really do that because
you do that for a living?
What did you say?
Did you say you do that for a living?
Yeah.
So what are you selling if you're telling people that fluoride is bad for them?
Truth.
This is Tom we're talking to.
What it is. No, man, this is Keith. So it came from the story is I'm like the most talented door-to-door salesman that probably ever talked to. I've got some sort of magical ability to convince people to give me money at the door. And I worked my way up the ranks at Clean Water Action, which is like the largest group that does door-to-door water protection stuff. To the point that I was kind of, long story short, I was sitting down with the president of Clean Water Action having a conversation because I couldn't take their demand, which was not to discuss fluoride with their donating members. I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to have a meeting with them. And the president sat down with me, all right, of Clean Water Action, and said, "Keith, listen, I know that fluoride is a deep, dark, and scary hole. And every time that we look into it, it gets deeper and darker and scarier. But we can't talk to people about that at the door because that will take away from all the momentum that we have on all these other issues. It's so conspiratorial and, so it's a gray cloud around it. And that fits okay with you for a second, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been real okay, but I understand where obviously this is what those guys do, and that's what they want you talking about, but it's great that you then went on your own and just decided to sell truth then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't take it after a while because you got to think about, like, you're literally lying to people. You know, like, if people are giving you hundreds of dollars and they're asking you if your water's clean, and you're turning around and saying, yeah, of course it is, but, it's not. It's a deep, dark rabbit hole. Like, that's not clean, bro.
All right, well, I guess...
I started doing that, well, okay, real quick, before you go,
Sure.
I wanted to fucking hassle you about the something about the Mandela effect that I wanted to do a pitch to you towards Mandela effect, if that's okay.
Okay, pitch me.
All right, so do you know anything about John Titor? You familiar with that?
No.
Is that the time travel guy that the old Art Bell show?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'll just ramble and you stop me if I'm going too far. But so John Titor was a dude who called in 20 years ago or something like that, and made a lot of really interesting predictions that came true. And long story short is there's a lot of really convincing evidence to something beyond what we could understand happening with this whole John Titor story. And some of the specifics that John Titor got into about time travel was that what it did was it shifted your reality not to a different time, but to a parallel world that was slightly the same as the world that you used to be in, but different probably about 1% to 4%. And if you combine that with the whole Trump Tesla time travel stuff, are you familiar with that at all? His uncle, John Trump?
Yeah, he stole the paperwork or something. I've heard that.
Yeah, so his uncle John Trump got the paperwork from Tesla. He inherited the paperwork from Tesla. Tesla had experimented in time travel. The story goes that he kept the paperwork, gave it to Trump. Trump spent millions of dollars to do a bunch of time travel to save the world and blah, blah, blah. But you can fit those two together. You got John Titor. You got evidence of time travel with Trump. And the evidence for that does exist. If you're not familiar, it's 4 books. They're written by Ingersoll Lockwood, and they're from 1900s, like 1901. And they're about Baron Trump, the marvelous adventures of Baron Trump. Another one's about the last president.
I read that.
Means a dude building a tower. Yeah, so it's crazy stuff. So just if you want to look into it, it just the stuff that it has to do with the Mandela effect is that it does change things on like a 1% to 4% scale, and that could be a better explanation than somebody going back and changing a video cassette tape or a game board out than actually shifting the reality on a whole scale to 1% to 4% differences that might account for that, if that makes sense.
All right, I'll definitely check it out. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate it. You read that book, Crow?
Yeah, I did actually a long time ago. I think I read it in PDF, actually.
All right, let's try and get another call or two. 418, you're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this?
Yes, hi, it's Daniel.
What's up, Daniel?
Well, thanks for doing what you do. And I sent you an email with a link. Greg Reese did an amazing video a few months ago about Flat Earth, and he came out yesterday with an interview on SGT Report with Sean, and they have a video 45 minutes about the corona, and it's just great. So I just want to point people to that, and I'm done for tonight. Thank you so much, guys, again.
Thank you. I have not seen that yet. Dave, have you seen that? I didn't know Greg Reese was on SGT.
Yeah, no, I did. He did. They were really thinking through some stuff, but one of the best parts about it is Greg has a nicely decorated office with a giant AE map behind him.
Nice.
So, yeah, or the Gall Peters map, whatever map it was. A big one.
541. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this?
Hey guys, thinking about this corona situation and how they're pointing out it's a seasonal thing that's just going to pass. What about the other hemisphere? It seems like nobody's talking about the idea that the southern hemisphere is on a completely different schedule from us. So, you know, whether it's plane travel or whatnot, right now we're hearing things coming out of Australia, and I just don't hear, whether it's mainstream or truthers, I just don't hear a lot of talk about it. And curious if maybe Dave could bring something into his app as it kind of relates, watching the sun move around, right? It's summertime in the southern, or right, they're moving into fall.
Very interesting.
Interesting idea, but I noticed too that for us, where we are, it feels like they're pushing it a little bit later. Where I am, most people are getting sick and over it by February-ish with some straggling. So it feels like we're even a little late, but that's an interesting idea, which may kind of address the timing that I noticed. Good point.
Yeah, appreciate it. Dave, you have anything to say?
I do have a feature in the app that people don't know, that if you use the app every day and click the featured video every day, it actually emits a frequency that kills the coronavirus and it keeps you safe.
Nice.
So, oh wait, I can prove this too. There's thousands and thousands of people that have my app that click that video every day, and none of them have the coronavirus.
There it is. It's proof.
Proof
Hey.
right there. Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app available on Google Play.
All right, let's try to get one more call. 843. You're on with Jeranism there. Who's this?
Guaranteed or your money back, by the way. If you die of corona, you get your $2.99 back.
Well, first question, caller. Do you have the app and do you have corona?
I do have the app since it was available on Android. Thank you, David.
And do you have corona?
Do you have corona?
I don't.
There it is, another happy customer.
I want to thank Jeran, David, Crow, and Jason. You guys you've taught a lot of us a lot of things, and I love the work you do. Great stuff. I do have a quote, and I don't know who the quote's from. I can't remember who it's from, but if you love what you do, you never work a day again. All right? And that's what you guys are doing. You love what you do, and it's not like work, right? So, there you go.
Well, we love what we do, but at this point, it's a lot like work.
I promise you it's work.
Well, we love work. We love working.
We do. It's better than digging a ditch, so your point is well taken.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad that what we do reaches so many people and seems to help.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I'm not sure. I mean, I get so many emails just from the people saying thank you, thank you, thank you. If it wasn't for that, it would be a difficult task because you know what we get on the other end, which is the hate, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. So at least you got the people telling you that they appreciate what we do, like the last caller. Thank you very much for that call, because that makes it all worth it, at least for me.
Somebody in the chat asked me if I had gotten a video they sent. I'm like, where did you send it? They're like, well, I replied to one of your comments on Twitter. And I'm like, I never look at the comments on Twitter.
Not the most effective way. Just
yeah.
People always get mad at me. They come in and they make snide comments like, that's so crow because I don't follow. I'm following 0 people. That I guess that irks the younger generation.
So you have a Twitter where you follow 0? I love that.
I just post stuff there, but I don't follow anyone. So someone will come in and say, that's so crow, or they'll say something snide, you know, like, don't you know how to use this stuff? It's just, and I'll be sitting here laughing.
I think it'd be funnier if you followed like one person, like, I don't know, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, if I was going to follow one person, I'd have to think about it really carefully.
just to rub it in even more. All right, well, guys, I really appreciate you stepping in for me tonight. Jason, as always, David, Crow, you're welcome anytime. And awesome work that you've done. I love the video, that you just put up. I don't know, was it yesterday or something with Dr. Kaufman? Anybody who hasn't heard that yet, you have to listen to that. And it's great to hear people actually telling the truth about viruses and antibiotics. And I just love hearing it and people willing to stand up and take a step outside of the norm.
Yeah, you're not going to do much better than a highly trained medical doctor who finally got sick of what we all got sick of, but decided to stand up and talk about it. It's got to be lonely for that guy sometimes, I'm guessing, in the mainstream.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's not many like him. So, and again, this is an MD, somebody who's telling you the truth and telling you, hey, I used to believe all this, and this is why I don't anymore, because there's no evidence for it, which is how we should start things of what we believe in. Dave, any final words before we go?
No, that was it. Thanks, Jason and Crow, for coming on and helping out with Jeran, who didn't sound. I think he's lying about his tooth being removed.
Maybe put it back in.
Great.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/sign and sign up for a TFR